if this had happened to Megan, if some people, if little children had started chanting her name like that,
I'm gonna
oh,
vomit. I'm gonna
oh, she,
vomit.
her eyes would have rolled back up in her head and she would have ascended at that point. She would have reached nirvana for her. That would have been it. Children chanting her name and smiling and laughing. Oh my God.
Deceased. Deceased. Hi, all. Welcome to Reading Royals with body language expert Scott Rouse. He's back. I'm Kinsey Schofield. Reading Royals brings history, headlines, and human behavior together in a way only Scott and I can. We go beyond palace press releases and carefully staged photo ops to look at what is really being communicated. Scott, welcome back. We've got a jam-packed Princess of Wales program prepared for the peeps today, don't we?
We sure do. And I think you're going to love it. It's going to be
I mean,
great.
I love everything she does, but and we'll talk about what that it factor might be here in a second. But here's why she's on our radar. Catherine, the Princess of Wales, visited northern Italy for her first official solo overseas trip since her cancer diagnosis. We know she's in remission now, and I mean, she looked incredible. She looked confident. She looked grateful to be there, and she was studying pioneering early childhood education. She visited schools, a creative recycling center, and met local families to gather insight for her Royal Foundation Center for Early Childhood. Some of the media reports called it a fact-finding mission because I had no clue. Now I do, thanks to the Princess of Wales. Apparently, in Italy, it's the family's job to determine how the child is educated, to determine, is it more hands-on? Are they using devices? Italy leaves that responsibility to the families versus the government. And Catherine was trying to, learn more about that process so that she could bring any information she found compelling back to her early years campaign. And I mean, she teaches me something new every day, Scott. She's just a little blessing.
Well, I was just thinking about what I was going to say about Megan, but I'm not going to say anything. So I'm sorry. I can't help it. I just go right in on that.
I know. Well, that's why we
So,
love you. That's why we love you.
yeah.
I mean, well, what would you say about Meghan when it comes to like, I mean, you have seen some of the videos I sent you previously. The um, response to Catherine is undeniable.
hmm Yeah, I mean, it's just the comparison. When he says, we go through this, I'll point out some things body language wise that are opposite from what Megan does and how her approach to Catherine's approach, because they're completely different. And we're going to see all that in these videos,
Yeah.
every one of them.
Yeah.
Well, this is such a, if we had a thing, if we are going to be mean, then we
Yeah.
bring up and compare them both, or if I was going to be mean to do that. But yeah, it's going to be great because I'll point out the things that are different in each and they can go look at
I'm glad
the
that you're
videos.
like saying that because if I tried to do that, I don't know if I could find any, I don't know if I could find anything that compares. I mean, yes, obviously we could go grab video from Australia of Megan with cancer children. Actually, I could go to look on her app and find those pictures where she's shilling the clothing she's wearing while she's embracing sick children. But it really is hard to compare the two when they are so different.
hmm Oh yeah, they really from it's the approach to the thing, and you can tell. And I'm just saying this from my perspective. The psychological perspective from each one of these is
Yeah.
completely different from the way they carry themselves, the way they talk and address other people. It's really incredible. When you sent me that stuff, I was like, wow,
Yeah.
because I mean, I don't get all up in this except for Megan.
Yeah.
So I've never really watched a lot of Catherine stuff, but they're doing the same stuff. They're in put Megan's
Well,
putting
Megan's
herself in the same
trying to.
situations. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Megan's
and we
certainly trying to recreate kind of these royal moments, and you've actually seen a real royal
uh,
in action, and you're saying it's kind of changed your perspective, maybe a little bit of also Megan trying to do it as well.
yeah, yeah, totally. And you watch, she'll change a little bit too. She'll see what Catherine's doing, but she doesn't understand what she's doing and why what she's doing is a thing that makes her repellent, her personality type. So,
Mm.
and just watching her, you can see, you can watch her stuff without the sound on. Either one of them, you can go, I like that person. But in a few minutes, we see these children around Catherine. And you will remember what was going on with the children around Meghan, and we'll be able to see a huge difference there. Huge difference there.
Let's take a look at the first video. This is, let me see. The first one is Catherine responding to a huge crowd. And again, I read that description about this being Catherine's first solo visit because that does have to be intimidating when you've spent the last few years on, international, I should say, solo visit, when you've spent the last few years recuperating, recovering, and also healing from some pretty mean people online and some pretty ugly conspiracy theories. A very sweet roar from the crowd, a smile, across her face really quickly in response. She acknowledges everyone that's there, but also is so respectful in the person's time that's waiting for her at the door to shake her hand. So she doesn't sit there and bask in the applause and bask in the screams, but she certainly acknowledges them. Uh, I feel like I see somebody that's confident and grateful for the reception.
Yeah. And what you're seeing in Meghan when she does this, she's caught between this thing of I don't want people to see me like they do in Hollywood, and oh, the paparazzi taking my picture, and this where you just get where you're royal and you come out and you go, and that's why you're there is for them to do that, and to look pleasant, to be nice to everybody, and all that. That's the difference. That's one of the reasons Meghan looks so uncomfortable is because she is uncomfortable. She doesn't know whether she needs to be hiding or showing herself or what. She's caught in between those two things,
Yeah.
you know.
So when Meghan, rarely do we see Meghan with large crowds like this today. I think that might be I think that might be something in the past that she has to just unless she does manage to ever stand next to Catherine again,
Mhm.
which I don't know if
Aren't they going to London or something soon? I saw it on
that's
X
a
today.
we know that Prince Harry is going for the preview to the Invictus Games, but Meghan is not a guarantee. And I'm wondering if she'll even show up next year. But even then, I don't think that the royal family would be seen with them because it gives them and their actions credibility, and it almost endorses the last few years of their behavior if they're seen with them. So, from a PR perspective, I think it's safer and more appropriate for the royal family to distance themselves. But you're saying when Meghan shows up and there is some sort of crowd, I would have assumed she would bask in it. Are you saying she's kind of torn between wanting the celebrity attention but feeling like she's not supposed to because she's trying to look royal?
Yeah, well, no, because she's trying to look like she's a star. That's the difference. She's seeing everybody, when they when they see paparazzi taking the pictures and stuff, it's supposed to bother you. She's trapped in between being doing the royal thing where you're supposed to get out and go, hey, it's me. It is me. Look,
Yeah.
this,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
guys are awesome.
I'm here to do a job. I'm here to do
Yeah,
a job.
have
Yeah.
something to do. And then you've got the part where she's being the famous person.
Influencer celebrity. Yeah.
Yeah, where she's kind of hiding it, where she believes she's supposed to not like that. So that's the juxtaposition of her pretending she knows what she's doing, number one, against the looking like she doesn't want to be there and wanting to be there at the same time. I don't know if
Mm.
that makes sense, but there's confusion, in other words, of what she's supposed to be doing when she gets out of the car compared to Catherine. Catherine knows exactly what she's doing. No question there. I have a job. I'm going to do it. Here it is. It's me. Hey, everybody. You're great. I like you. I love you guys. And they're like, we love you too. And with Meghan, she didn't get that at all. So that's why her subconsciously, she's fighting whether I should act like a movie star or act like I'm a royal. So it doesn't work. She's trying to be
Well,
both at
Meghan doesn't
once.
know how to be a royal because she was only a royal for like less than 2 years technically, and then she quit her
Mhm.
job. I wonder, and maybe you can speak on this, maybe you can't, but how much of we rarely see Meghan in a position like this. How much of the push and pull that you sense from Meghan is Harry hating that celebrity paparazzi lifestyle that Meghan used to pursue. So Meghan internally is like, my dreams are coming true. I'm loving this. Finally, everyone knows my name. They're taking my picture. But she can feel Harry going, let's get the hell out of here. Let's hurry up. Let's hurry up. Let's get inside. I hate these photographers. The paparazzi killed my mom, you know?
Hmm. Yeah. So I think what we're dealing with is the juxtaposition of Megan trying to feel like she's is where she's supposed to be. You
Ooh.
know, I'm famous and here's what I'm doing this against the thing where she's trying to feel like she doesn't know whether she's supposed to act like a Hollywood movie star or a royal. And
And
those
she's
things don't,
neither. It's wild
right,
because she's neither.
right. And they don't go together. So it looks weird and she acts weird. And
Yeah.
that's the problem. That's why you feel odd when you watch her
Yeah. That
because she
is
doesn't know what
true.
she's doing.
That is true.
So,
She does act weird. I mean, you say that all the time. Like, this is not normal behavior.
yeah.
We're dog lovers here on Reading Royals, that's for sure. Between Hattie's appearances, Rue, Bigley, Little Edie's appearances, I thought that this was a really sweet moment between the Princess of Wales and one of the organizers she was talking to about her dog that passed away. Um, I just thought it was a sweet moment because she's somehow remains pretty private, you know,
Mhm.
despite being on the world stage, despite knowing everything we do know, she is still a pretty private person. And so this felt intimate, I guess, is
Mhm.
this felt really it felt like special information to share. So we'll watch that exchange here.
Dog was called Lupo. We had a dog that was called Lupo. Oh, really? Yeah. But did you know the Italian meaning of it? Yeah. It's really very silent. I guess it was a big dog. Yeah. No, he wasn't actually. He wasn't actually. Okay. He had a big personality, but it's really
I mean, I long time ago, I think that someone tried to write a book about one of their dogs, and
Mhm.
I think they threatened to sue that person. I'd have to like confirm, but they were so protective of their little family, even their four-legged friends.
Mhm.
Um, and you know what? At the time, I think that they were just trying to set boundaries, but I think that that was just like a rare moment where she, you know, tells us a little bit about their private life. And I thought it was very sweet. Obviously, she loved that animal. And it was sweet to see the look on her face when she was reminded of Lupo.
Yeah. And there's some really interesting body language things here too, because what we see happen here is what we see women do. It's mostly women that do this. This little notch in your neck here, that little dimple, that's called the suprasternal notch. And when there's something that's emotional that comes up, it could be someone, a little child getting hurt, or you hear a story about somebody breaking their arm or something, somebody you know, you get a phone call. And if a woman gets a phone call about a child getting a broken arm, they'll be on the phone. And you'll see them touch their suprasternal notch. And she actually does that. She gets close to this and hits this. Some people do it. Sometimes men will do it and they'll do this, but they rarely do they hit the suprasternal notch. And from the studies and things that we've seen, we know that for some reason women do that when there's an emotional upheaval, especially when it's empathetic. And in this
Hmm.
as well, we're seeing less illustrating. When we'll see in the next couple of videos, we'll see where she uses her hands a lot. She uses them here, but not as much, and they're not as high. She keeps them closer to her torso. So because it's remembering an emotion that's of grief when you think about her dog or whatever. So they're lower, close to her torso, and comparatively, her from the other videos we'll watch, her voice tone, volume, and cadence are all lower as well. Her voice volume is lower, the tone of her voice is a little bit lower, and the cadence, how fast she talks, that's lowers or slower as well. So those
Is she like less comfortable talking about herself? Is she sometimes I feel like I see in her something that I know in myself, which is that like I just assume nobody wants to hear about my life, so I will try to speed through something if somebody asks me something about it. And that's kind of what I felt like she was doing, like I'm giving you this story, but I don't think it's as important as it actually is to us. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sometimes what you'll see is somebody who feels like that. They'll feel the way you do, and you'll just get the highlights of things, but it's things people can pick out and go, wait a minute, what about this? What about this? What was his name? How old was he?
Mhm.
What color was he? What kind of dog was it? Those kind of things. And they can pick those out. So I don't think she's doing that on purpose, but it's probably I think with what you're talking about, it's probably a situation where she doesn't think it's as interesting as it
Her
may
job,
be.
what she's there to do, what she's there to
Exactly.
discuss. Right.
Exactly.
Oh,
So it
yeah.
may not fit with her that very well, may bring the everybody down, and it's about her. She doesn't try to center things on herself.
Oh my,
And
well, we have to do the Meghan Markle comparison then, because when Meghan Markle talks about herself, it's like that she is her own biggest fan. She acts like she knows the public can't wait to hear this story, and it's the
oh yeah.
greatest story that's ever been told. That is so different to what it was like, that was a humble little quick story from Catherine. And in my opinion, she was trying to get through it quickly because, like, to your point, she knew she had a higher purpose there, and it wasn't to discuss herself and her past, even though we loved
Nailed
that
it.
information.
Exactly. Exactly. I can't add anything to that because you're spot on.
Well, can you talk to me a little bit about, like, it by comparison when Meghan talks about herself? Do you see that too, where Meghan is like, okay, spotlight, here we go. And I know you're going to love this story about me.
I think I my impression would be she would say, I had a dog, not we had a dog or our family had a dog. The word I would come up. She'd reference herself much more often than Catherine references herself here. She would have said, I love that dog so much. I did this. It wouldn't
That
be any,
dog loved me. That
there you
dog
go.
loved
Yeah,
me.
that dog loved me so much. Bless its heart. So yeah, it all turned toward her. It's the perfect time to do that. And
Have I ever told you that Meghan abandoned one of her rescue dogs when she married Harry? She
oh
left it in Canada.
no. No.
Oh,
What?
yes, she did.
Okay.
And then the
Let's have it.
one of the dogs that she took with her to London mysteriously broke like two, if not four, of its legs.
What are you talking about?
I know. I'm not what I'm talking about
Tell
is
me
I
the
don't think we're
story.
dealing with a very good dog mom. We don't know the story. It's a mystery as to how the dog broke its legs. I'd have to go back and see. I think it was at least its two front legs, but maybe it was all four. But one of the dogs she does take with her to London ends up injured, like horribly injured. And then she left one of her rescue dogs in Canada, claiming it was too old to travel to London, as if the royal family cannot ambulance, like send an air ambulance for your freaking dog because
Oh,
you're about to be a duchess. Um, it's my understanding the dog just didn't really like Harry, and that's why it got dumped in Canada.
oh my God. Well, you know what they say.
If a
People
dog
who
don't
don't.
like you, you're a crappy person.
Yeah, it's a heads up, man. Wow. So what kind of dog was it? Do you know?
I can't remember what type of
Was it
dog
a
it
little
was
one?
because she's gone through so many dogs in the last few years. And they're
Really?
like they just disappear and we don't know what happened to them.
Do you know anything about her childhood in animals?
I think she had a cat, according to her. I think she had a cat growing up.
Has her family ever talked about? I feel like I'm at work. Sorry about that. Because
Yeah,
one of the things you look for when you're hunting for deciding whether someone's a psychopath or not, you ask questions about animals and if they
yeah.
treated them nice, if they were good. I'm not saying she is. I'm just saying that's the road I was going down. So I'm wondering if her family ever talked about her and animals, if she had any
Not
little
yet,
pet
but
like a
I feel like
turtle or
that's
anything.
something we should ask them to discuss.
That'd be interesting to know.
Yeah.
Did she have an alcohol problem or anything when she was younger? Do we know? Drugs or
I
anything?
don't think so. I think she went to like the most expensive celebrity Catholic little schoolhouse, all girls. Her
Okay.
dad made sure she went to the best schools, the best college. I just was talking to somebody about how nasty she was in college. Some of her sorority sisters are like, ah. Um,
Really?
yeah,
What'd she do?
she was a mean girl according to my
Oh,
sources in college. She was not friendly at all and had a stick up her butt, thought, knew she was going to be somebody or was just determined to be somebody and was already acting like she was there, despite just like her dad just
oh,
being an Emmy winning lighting designer. Like was living off of her dad's accomplishments as if she was going to be the next with the trophy, you know? And
Oh,
now she
that's
gets trophies all
gross.
the time for nothing because she's got a great publicist every other day because she goes burns through publicists like she burns through trophies
Ugh.
and dogs and rescue dogs.
See, I'm going to find out about that dog thing. She better hope Rebecca Corey doesn't get on her case. You know, that girl
Uh-oh.
in Los Angeles. What is the for she's for pets. Her thing is gosh almighty, I can't remember. Can't believe I can't remember the name of it. But she's getting something done about those dogs on what's the road Skid Row down there
Oh
because the way
yeah,
they're
yeah,
treating the
yeah.
dogs down
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Good for her.
jeez,
Well, let me
yeah.
know if I can help with that because that upsets me too. I used to go volunteer on Skid Row and give like those clean those people up, but it's too scary for me these days. Skid
Oh
Row is a
yeah,
terrifying place to be
yeah. You don't want to go
today.
down there. Don't do that.
But I've also
Yeah.
said 1,000 times that like if Harry and Meghan really wanted us to believe, I can't remember what the number was, but the number of people on Skid Row that are veterans is appalling. And I've said a million times, if Harry and Meghan really wanted us to believe that they cared about their community, Harry would be down on Skid Row changing veterans' lives, you know?
There you go. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's right in your backyard, Harry. Um, okay, so let's talk about Catherine actually delivering the message because we were saying, oh, maybe she's a little so she's so sweet and delicate in the delivery here. Maybe that delivery is so different and so delicate because she knows she's there to deliver a bigger message and an important message. And we have some of that on video too. So let's take a look at that.
But the world that children are growing up in now is so fast paced, isn't it? And actually encouraging them to slow down and really engage in these creative activities is so important. And to explore language in the way that you're doing, in a really creative and expressive way through storytelling. It clearly connects to them.
So sweet. And I think she believes everything she's saying. She's really passionate about this campaign. She's really passionate about, and I've seen some really ugly comments online. This early years project, because people are like, when's she going to be done? The
Mm.
early years project is an ever evolving research project where the Princess of Wales is, they're looking at statistics, they're doing their own research and their own studies, and they're investing in all of these unique opportunities to figure out how people all over the world are teaching their children or are treating children and the environments children are growing up in the early years of their life and how that affects them as adults. Like, that's going to take some time because you have to sit back and study some of these children for years to see how the environment affected their adult life. I don't think that she's ever going to be done with this. It's a fluid project, and that's what I don't think some people understand that are critical of this. But she is loving, in my opinion, what she's seeing going on there. And she's really excited to take some of that information home and to discuss it with her team, in my opinion.
I think you nailed it. And let me tell you why that works from a body language perspective. When she's talking, look how wide her eyes are. They're wider than they've been in the other one. And when she gets excited, apparently that's what happens. And you see what's called the sclera, that white stuff around your eyes. You see more of that. And she's got strong illustrations here. She's doing that, really strong illustrations. And the interesting part is she's a princess. They're always prim and proper and all that. She's so in the moment that she forgets her posture goes away. And all of a sudden she pops up real quick and straightens her posture when she comes out of that being all up in the moment.
Yeah.
So that was really important. And talking about Megan the way I do, you don't see that with Megan. Megan's always got that wide-eyed fake smile and all that. And her smile when she does when Catherine smiles, it's what's called a Duchenne smile. It's a real smile. We can tell. A lot of people say, oh, because of the wrinkles in the eyes, around the eyes. It's not just the wrinkles, it's the way the wrinkles come in. They come in, they'll close on the side at an angle like that. Your eyes do when they squint. And when it's a fake smile, they just squint and go straight up because it's your brain making them come in at the angle. And when you do it yourself, you're squinting and it comes up here from these little muscles right here. That's what pushes them up. So it's a big difference. You have to know what to look for, but
Yeah.
once you
Yeah.
see it, you go, "Oh, I know if that's real or fake." So if
Yeah.
you look from now on, look for it if when it comes in at an angle on the sides, the little squint.
Yeah, I think we see a lot of fake smiling from Meghan when they try to recreate some of this stuff. What about, because you've been complimentary towards Meghan when it comes to delivering a speech on a stage. I think one of the last times um you were, how do I say this? Very nice and like very complimentary
Mm.
to this woman was when she was talking about something that we have realized is not very authentic from her, protecting children online or keeping your children
Yeah.
offline. And then and she's delivering this speech and she's got all these statistics and inevitably makes it about herself. I was the most bullied person in the world for 10 years,
Ugh.
but she seems almost robotic compared to Catherine is delivering something that she seems totally sincere about and invested in, emotionally invested in. And like compared to Meghan on the stage, it was in New York, and you did a comparison between Harry and Meghan, and you said Meghan nailed it compared to Harry,
Mhm.
and you did that on your channel. Um, Meghan now looks like a spokesperson that was hired to be there to deliver
Mhm.
some lines that she studied, and it was not. There's no real emotion behind what Meghan, in my opinion, was doing now that I've seen Catherine talking about the early years project.
You're so good at this because that's exactly what you're saying. What with Catherine, what you're saying is true emotion. In other words, she'll have a bullet point. Maybe she wants to cover this. I'll cover that, and then she'll say, "I'll cover this." She may have two or three things she wants to talk about in those situations. Whereas Megan will have not just the bullet points; she'll have all these little sections under it. She has a list she has to go through. That's why she starts. We saw that odd body language when Megan's given one of those speeches, and I'm saying she executes it well because she looks
She's
like
an
you're.
actress.
There you go. She looks like you're supposed to when you're doing that,
Yeah, yeah,
if
yeah.
nothing goes wrong. And you have that one emotion that goes straight almost the whole time. And that's what she does. Now with Catherine, when it's we know it's emotional because she's choosing her words. She's not trying to structure her sentences. She's trying to express an emotion. She's thinking, how am I going to say this so it sounds the way it should sound?
Mm,
Not how am I going to say this so it sounds like I'm the smartest, best person in the world. So
yes.
Catherine's vernacular is a lot different than Megan's vernacular. Granted, they were born in different places, raised in different places or different ages. So you're going to have that anyway. But when it comes to describing the situation you're in or something you're trying to promote, she, I'm under the impression that Catherine doesn't go right back to her, bang, I've got these five things I say every time because you'll hear Megan say the same 5 to 7 things every time when she's describing something because that's all she's got
And
is
she
those.
always makes it about her, Scott.
Yeah.
Meghan always brings it back to her, not even protecting her own children. It always seems to just come back to Meghan, where Catherine is, it seems like Catherine is concerned about this for everybody. Like Catherine's not saying, well, I do this at home or I'm going to do this.
Hmm.
She's like, isn't this unique? Or, this is so unique. She's complimentary of the people that she's surrounded by, and she's not making it about herself, which is also a huge difference.
Yeah, because it's not about herself. She's there to talk about the things she's supposed to be promoting or talking about.
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
not
yeah.
trying to bring everything back around to her. I don't think, in Megan's situation, I don't think she can help that. That's the sad part. She
Mm,
can't help but do that, except, try to make herself feel better because narcissists at the root of it, they really despise themselves. They hate themselves.
wow. Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
let's look at this unbelievably adorable video of the Princess of Wales. So Scott, like no matter what Meghan Markle says, Catherine is a hugger. I mean, there are so many pictures of children just clinging to her,
Mhm.
and affectionate towards her and comfortable around her. And it's, to me it pops out, or to me it's so sweet and unique because there is a language barrier, and Catherine is like repeatedly telling them, I know a little Italian, and she does speak to them in a little Italian, but she'll say, what's your name? But she tells them, I speak just a little Italian. So that, but there is clearly a language barrier, and they still recognize something pure, sweet, and good in her that make them feel comfortable enough to be physically affectionate towards her. And she is physically affectionate right back. She loves them too, or she loves the energy they're giving her too, I should say. I don't want to like, she loves them, but she is loving the environment and the experience. Do you see a sense of comfort there with her? And do you think that she is enjoying this process?
Yeah. Oh, she totally is because she's in her element. She's good at that. And the thing is, it looks like we're seeing one thing happening. There's so much going on here. And if you'll pay attention to this, if the people watching will watch this, you'll see what I'm talking about. There's a whole lot going on because the children are doing what's called a threat check with their mothers. See, you know, when you're introduced as a child to a new situation, you don't know what it is, you don't know who it is or what's going on. You look at your mother and see how she reacts. And if she reacts like something's wrong, you'll know it's not a good thing to be in. These little kids are checking with their mothers. It's really quick, doesn't take long. All the mothers are smiling. Those are real smiles. Those aren't fake smiles. Even though they're relaxed and that's almost in their resting face, it's still got that little smile on it. That lets us know that everyone there is comfortable. Everyone wants to be there and nobody feels like something's fake. You don't see those people standing around like we have a couple of times in Meghan's videos when there's a lot of people and they're going like this. You'll see that every now and then, like even a little child would be doing that. And look at the children. What are they doing? They're all scooting up, trying to get next to her. Some trying to put their hands on her, some aren't, but they're trying to get close to her because they know by looking at their mothers, this is a good person. This is a good situation. Everything is fine here. Now, the interesting thing is, when you start hearing that chant by those little children, I don't know what they're saying. Apparently it's something good, but an adult doesn't start that chant. You know, I was in the music business for a long time, made a lot of records. I was a record producer and I listened for things like that. Where does this start? There wasn't an adult that started that. A little child started that. And then all the other ones jumped in and started chanting that with them. That's heavy. If you have something like that happen with a group of kids, that's like herding turtles or cats. You can't, or chickens. It's hard
Turtles.
to do. Yeah. You know, it takes a long time and it doesn't work very well. But when you have children start it by themselves, and they all jump in, that lets you know everybody there. So that lets us know that, and this sounds cornball, there's not an aura, but there's a feeling that you put out with people when you have charisma. And that some people have a lot of it, like Elvis Presley did, and some would have just enough to affect the people around them. I think that's the kind she has. So everybody around here can sort of feel that the good energy or whatever that's there. And let's talk bad about Meghan for a minute. If this had happened to Meghan, if some little children had started chanting her name like that,
I'm going to vomit. I'm going to vomit.
Her eyes would have rolled back up in her head and she would have ascended at that point. She would have reached nirvana for her. That would have been it. Children chanting her name and smiling and laughing. Oh my God.
Deceased. You are so right. It would have been like an episode of Stranger Things where her body just off the ground.
Exactly. That'd have been it. She's, and started up. I'm telling you, that's what would happen. She couldn't have handled it.
I'm dying. That is so funny. You sent me the sweetest response to this video earlier today. We have got to look at this video. It's the cutest thing. I have a running joke that if you want to get the Princess of Wales's attention, you show up with a dog or a baby and she makes a beeline straight to you. And I've seen ugly babies and I've seen cute babies, and I don't know if I've ever seen a baby that cute. I was like, is that baby real? Is that a real baby?
Yeah, that little baby was cute. It got me. I didn't see anything else in that crowd of people. I don't know what Catherine was wearing. I'm assuming she was there. I'm sure the baby had a mother, and there's other people around there because I could hear them. But I focused on that baby, and I couldn't get loose from it. That's how cute it was. It had me. It got me. That's charisma. Little baby charisma is the most potent charisma there is because you can't stop looking at them.
Like if I were an Italian baby food company or an Italian diaper company, I would have tracked that family down by now, and that baby would be my spokesperson. Like I would throw all of my money at that baby.
Oh, that's the one. That's what I love that kid. I don't know who the little baby is, but that's the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life.
I want to make sure that kid has a good Christmas.
Me too. You want to tell you something, how you can make babies like that follow you everywhere when they're looking around the room? I'm going to tell you how you make this is how you get if you're a guy watching this, listen up, man, because you're going to look like the dang baby whisperer when I finish telling you about this. If you'll do this, I promise you, and you're not married and you see a little baby, you do this. You go up to the little baby, it's one, make sure it's young enough, like that size. And when you go up to the baby, start doing your eyebrows up like that
Uh-huh.
and keep them up because that's called an eyebrow flash. And for some reason, when humans see each other and they know each other, their eyebrows go up.
Oh,
Mothers, when she looks down at that baby, her eyebrows go up and she talks to the baby the whole time. Then they'll relax and they'll go up again. Nobody else does it. Everybody else comes in and it just goes up once as they're talking to the baby. Now, if you go to Cracker Barrel or wherever it is you eat and you see a little baby like that and you're trying to impress some girl, you walk up to that little thing, you say, "Oh, it's a sweet little baby." And you keep doing this to the baby. Nobody's going to be looking at you. They're all going to be looking at the baby. So don't worry about that. From then on, that baby's going to know something's up. Its eyes are going to get a little bit wider. It's going to keep looking at you. And when you leave, that baby's going to follow you all around that restaurant until it leaves or you leave. I'm telling you, that's what's going to happen next. If you'll just look in there and do this at that baby the whole time as you talk to it,
yeah.
nobody's going to look at you. Just keep doing your eyebrows. It's called an eyebrow flash. Just keep doing that. And that baby will lock in on you because that's what its mom does every time she sees that little baby.
Because she loves it.
Yeah.
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 Aw,
So
that's so sweet.
yeah. So keep that, guys. You can use it. I promise you, it works like a charm.
And then there's Catherine, and Catherine like genuinely seems so excited to be around the child. And like it just seems like she was born for this. I know she wasn't. I know that she married into it, but you do get the sense that it's just so effortless for her. And you know, I admire her for it because she has a very tough job. The entire world comments on her physical appearance, comments on her clothing, comments on her hair, comments on, her delivery, the way we are. Thankfully, we're complimentary, but there are people out there that aren't and they're judgmental. She has a very tough job, but she just seems so born for this role and grateful and happy.
Yeah. And notice how the baby doesn't look away from her. What does
Mm,
that tell you? What we were talking about earlier.
yeah,
Little babies and little dogs know when something's wrong with you. And when something's right with you, they know that too. That's
yeah.
why they gravitate toward some people and some people they don't. But the whole time, that little baby locks eyes with her, and that's about it. And it's still trying to hold its head up. It looks like the foreman on one of those floors where they have a big company, and the
Yeah.
foreman's up there looking, and he keeps looking down. That's what his head looks like. It's bobbing because he's trying
That's
to hold
so
his head up.
sweet. It's Whittle. It's a
Oh,
Whittle baby.
I God, it got me. Oof.
Before I let you go, I know we try not to we try to focus when it comes to body language on video, not images, and you can explain why images are more difficult to dissect, but
Mm.
I had to ask your opinion on this picture. It's Meghan trying on an outfit and her poor peasant daughter worshiping her at her feet. It's such a weird photo and it's not very edifying. Like I think she thinks it's cute, but to me it's like what is your daughter what do you have Lily doing? Putting your shoes on for you because she's the help. Like again, it's the back of the freaking head. She clearly thinks she's cute, like by the smug look on her face. But you know, what is your reaction to that? There's Catherine like really just loving on all of these babies, and then there's Meghan Markle posting a picture a few days later that's like, put on my shoes, no wire hangers.
Well, when you look at pictures of body language, you got to find out what's going on and put it into context with what's happening in that picture. Where is she? Where is this? Her closet?
Closet, yeah, her closet.
Okay, that's what I thought. So this is everything she wants in a picture. Number one, it's her. Number
Mm-hmm.
two, it's her child. Remember that? She always wants to show the kids, but not their faces now, or not their faces at all. So he wants to show that. And we're seeing how big her closet is. There's a reason she didn't crop that. We all know how to crop photos on her phone. She does too, because we've seen her do it.
Mm-hmm.
But she's showing you how big that closet is. She's showing all the clothes she's got. She's showing the little child down there, and she's showing her perfectly looking, trying to look cute and adorable, or trying to look like she's, got it together. No, but that's the perfect shot for her. You'd expect something like that. I'm surprised we haven't seen a lot more like that. And there
I
may
think,
be, I don't know.
unfortunately, I think we might. And you've said before, there's a couple of things I want to address in this photo. Some have pointed to the movie The Princess Diaries with Anne Hathaway, saying that she's dressed like Anne Hathaway in The Princess Diaries almost identically. I see that as well. Another comment that's been made is that it's the same color Catherine, the Princess of Wales, wore a few weeks ago. And there really is a bizarre copycat thing going on where the Princess of Wales will do something and then Meghan does it quickly thereafter. And one of the reasons why I think Catherine excels in this space and Meghan doesn't is because Catherine is just doing her own thing. I don't think she is trying to be anyone else. And I think Meghan is desperately trying to be Catherine. And it makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, she's trying to be somebody else because she doesn't like herself. Always goes back to that root of narcissism. Can't stand themselves. They despise themselves. So she wants to not only be like her, she wants to be anybody else but her because she doesn't like her. So yeah, I think you're right about that. I agree with
And
you.
then
100%
also one thing that I will just continue to remind the viewers at home of that you've said, and because I completely agree with you on, is the level of hypocrisy to share images, even if it's the back of the children's heads, with the internet, because it will inspire weirdos. And she's not doing her family any favors with the hinting at what the children look like, the teasing of what the children might look like. The headlines are like, Meghan reveals Lily's red hair. I just think that these are very dangerous headlines that she's generating for her own ego and personal attention that could trigger very dangerous people. And I wish she would be more thoughtful about the way that she shares content online. If you want to protect your children, like you say you do all the time, all over the world, when you have a microphone in your hand, keep them off the damn internet completely.
Yeah, she's teasing people like we talked about before. That's not good. That's not safe because at some point there could be, I don't know, somebody who's not together mentally they're going to want to know what those children look like. They're going to want to see them in person. That just makes it worse. What they're doing makes it worse. So,
and it's like we were talking about Catherine earlier, setting boundaries when it came to Lupo, and Lupo was a new puppy in their household and not wanting the world to know about anything about that puppy, which I was like, that's them setting boundaries. Their strategy with setting boundaries around their own children seems to work really well. You get access to our children during public events, Trooping the Color, Christmas, Easter. But when it's not, a public event, you leave our children alone to play sports, to go to school, just to be children. And they've managed to find a really genius balance. And just to reiterate what you just said, I feel like Meghan is playing with fire. I don't think that her strategy is some clever protect the kids strategy. I think she is, like dangling a carrot in front of a weirdo.
Doing that, if something were to happen like that, they would just take the stance. I told you so. I told you the internet's bad. I told you you're doing all this stuff. While at the same time, they're out there teasing people, these little pictures of these children. Yeah. It's not good. It's not, and that's their thing. That's what they went and talk about all the time. Harms to children, all that. Come on, man. No, somebody needs to call them out on that. Yeah. Like for real, because that's not good. That's not safe. It's not.
It's not.
No.
Well, agree with us, disagree with us. Let us know in the comments below. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend. Scott Rouse has 200,000 followers. I don't, but I will celebrate my friend Scott Rouse. Go follow him if you're not one of the 200,000 members of his fan club. I'm a member of his fan club. Congratulations on all your success, Scott. We missed you here at Kinsey Schofield Unfiltered, and we're glad you're back.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And you do get more views than I do, even though I have more subscribers.
Whatever.
Your videos get more views than mine.
Whatever.
So let's keep that straight.
All right. Well, hold on. Edie wants to say hi to you. I tried to cut her hair, and so one of her ears is not.
Oh.
One of her ears is not equal. Hello from Edie. Now the other dogs are going crazy, so I'm gonna let you go before they start barking. But it was great to see you. I'll talk to you again so soon.
Okay. Thanks so much. I'll see you in a bit.